burning all his work in science, but he never so much as thought of turning his back on his faith. Galileo, we are surprised to hear, was a devout Christian, and his debate with theologians was an internal Catholic debate over the interpretation of Scripture. It was never, again we are shocked, a debate between a proponent of secular science on the one hand and the adherents of religious faith on the other. But to see this, we can't ignore the details of Galileo's life and scientific work. For one thing, the Galileo affair, as it is now called, resulted largely from an ignorance of mathematics and science. This fact should give us considerable pause. Today, widespread avoidance of math and science is cliché. For another thing, the myths that have grown around the Galileo affair, especially the myth that science and religion are natural enemies, have been the result of a convenient neglect of facts. The paradox is this. Galileo's story, as it has come to us, is at once clouded and stripped bare, and to get an accurate picture of the Galileo affair, we must study more than isolated and impersonal facts. We must study a life. Chapter 1. From Monks to Medicine. According to Italian custom, we know Galileo by his first name. This was an honor conferred upon him even in his own lifetime. He was one of a kind, requiring only his first name to single him out. He belongs to that special group of Italians who have contributed not only to Italy's splendor, but to our races. Dante, Michelangelo, Raphael, and nearer our own time, Madonna. But Galileo's first name is also his last, Galileo Galilei, and perhaps a man with two first names need only go by one of them. Galileo could trace his ancestry back to the 1200s, to a Florentine who had not a single Galileo to his name, Giovanni Bonaiuti. But Giovanni's great-grandson Galileo Bonaiuti was a man of distinction, an official at the University of Florence and a professor of medicine. And he wasn't a mere academic. He had a successful medical practice, though, given the state of healthcare at that time, success was measured on a curve. Bonaiuti also had a distinguished political career as a member of Florence's governing council. Being involved in city government was substantially more impressive in Renaissance Italy than being, say, a mayor or city councilor today. Cities were the most powerful political entities in Italy: Venice, Florence, and of course Rome. Italy, in truth, didn't even exist during this time. The Italian state wouldn't be created until 1861. Italy was simply the boot-shaped landmass jutting into the Mediterranean, controlled by a number of duchies and republics, each looking out for itself. Galileo Bonaiuti's achievements were considerable. Therefore, when he died around 1450, a proud relative considered Galileo worthy enough to be the founder of a new and eminent Florentine family. On Bonaiuti's tombstone, this relative inscribed Galileis de Galilei, at one time Bonaiutis. The name stuck, both of them. 80 years later, in 1520, the Galilei family was still distinguished, although its financial station, if not its pedigree, had declined significantly. In this year, Vincenzo Galilei was born in Florence. Vincenzo and his son Galileo, our Galileo, would always be proud of their citizenry, and Galileo would refer to himself as a noble Florentine on his book's title pages. The Galileis were justifiably pleased with their Florentine background. Florence, the flourishing town, was the seat of the Renaissance in northern Italy, particularly during the 1400s, the Quattrocento. It was the home of Dante, Leonardo da Vinci, Machiavelli, and Michelangelo. In recent years, it had been one of the most powerful cities in Europe, the home of rich and influential cloth makers and bankers. Its currency, the florin, was a world monetary standard. Even America is something of a Florentine product, named after Florence's own Amerigo Vespucci. Vincenzo Galilei was a talented musician, so talented in fact that he attracted the attention of the famed Giovanni Bardi. Bardi was the patron of the Florentine Camerata, a group of prominent musical and literary intelligentsia whose efforts eventually, and unfortunately, produced opera. Bardi funded Vincenzio's study of music theory under the Venetian master Josefo Zarlino. Vincenzio's time with Zarlino would be important for the history of music. It was Vincenzio's disagreement with his teacher over music theory.